The event boss battle has returned, and the first demon in this lineup is going to be Baruja. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a challenge or an extreme mode, or sorry, a challenge or a hell mode, so we have to stick with extreme. So we're going to talk about two teams today because we want to spread the love outside of just the human team, even though they're throated and goated. We're going to talk about some unknowns. This is going to be Freyr, Vittoria, Nanashi, and Tyr. Obviously, these are some of the hardest, if not the hardest hitting unknowns in the game. And the thing with Baruja is that he, in fact, can be debuffed. So Tyr's going to have a real party here, and then Nanashi's pretty much there for buffs. So these guys are going to deal a fuck ton of damage. We have attack credit on everybody, obviously, besides Nanashi. And then the card set is going to be number 40, Sky Ocean Summer, buffing Unknown's attack. And then if you need attack food, you know, slap it on. The other team, obviously, we already said it's going to be it's going to be humans. We have SR Slater, the new Escanor, Mikasa, and Roxy. If you don't have Mikasa, probably Kizuna, just another human buffer, or just another human DPS like Light Bond, doesn't really matter. Everybody's going to be an attack crit again, except Slater, because his kit scales off crit chance, and it'll lower the enemy's crit resistance. Attack crit on Eska. Mikasa, she doesn't really do that much damage, doesn't really matter. Left her on a funny HP set. And then obviously Roxy, attack crit. Again, we have Sky Ocean Summer, because this applies to humans as well, and attack food if you need it. So that's going to be our two teams today. We'll go ahead and jump into it. So first up is going to be our unknown team. We're going to have this on auto, just like the title says. Right to left, obviously we're going to have a double Tyr and then a double Nanashi. Now, Vittoria obviously does have that debuff, but because of Tyr's passive, that's going to come out, and that is going to not allow Vittoria, at least on auto, to use her own debuff. It looks like Tier 2 card clears the first phase, so Nanashi doesn't get to show us his insane amount of damage that he probably would not do, but that's fine. Phase 2, we got a nasty merge on Freyr, so that's probably dropping. Tyr weak point does take the priority. Let's see what that damage looks like on phase 2. It's 3/4 of his health, so I think that works out pretty well. Freyr, not a lot of damage. Obviously, that ability doesn't really do much because all it is good for is stance canceling. But Vittoria's still going to come in clutch, even if your Freyr doesn't get a merge. You'll have the cleave damage. That's where his damage really comes from. Let's go ahead and do that. Run that one more time. See if we get a different set of cards outside of the merge. Maybe try to use the cards that we start with, just to see if our if we really need any RNG on these cards. I'm pretty sure we don't, you know, because they are unknowns. We are going to have one extra card that's not going to be in our starting hand, obviously, because we're not going to use that Vittoria debuff. But, you know, it's no big deal. I think the worst case scenario, right, is pulling an Nanashi card. So I guess we could see if that happens. That would be the worst variance of the run. Nope, we pulled another Tyr weak point, and then another... It's the stance cancel AoE. Just got a rank 2 again. Interesting. Almost like that's meant to happen. Well, I think even if you did get the Nanashi attack, you're going to have that Vittoria AoE, your single target, and then you're going to have the Freyr cleave, so that's probably going to kill. That's going to be the unknown team, so let's take a look at the human team. Alright, so like we mentioned before, from right to left, looks like we have double Roxy, double Mikasa. The team does have a double debuff, so we'll see if that matters at all. But these guys are overly oppressive with their damage, especially with Roxy passive, so I imagine 2 debuffs are not really going to bother our damage that much. Especially the Roxy single target. That could solo phase 1, to be honest. I think off auto, if we did double Roxy, it'd be the same result as double Tyr and killing phase 1 by itself. I would argue this is the worst possible draw. That's like 5 Slater cards. Doesn't look like Slater uses this particular debuff, that debuff variant, so we don't have to worry about him cucking our damage that way. We do have his very weak single target, but it doesn't look like it's going to get a chance to really show itself. And I believe even if it did, because of the setup, he should crit, which means Roxy passive kicks in, and the Roxy passive damage probably does more damage than that single target itself. So we're going to do another run, just like we did on Unknowns, give them a fair field here. Obviously, we know exactly what's going to happen, because humans have not failed on any, I don't know, 2-turn auto event demon ever. At least since I want to say since well, maybe since LR Esca. With LR Esca, Roxy, Lightbond, it's just been solo dolo, like ever since then, I feel like. And the Kazuna was a crazy buffer, Mikasa's a crazy buffer. Free to play Green Arthur, crazy buffer, especially with his Relic, which actually would proc here, now that I think about it, he would be pretty good. We don't get any crazy merges, no ugly draws, so it's double Esca, and then a single target from Slater. So we'll see if the Slater cards, or sorry, the Esca cards alone kill this boss. It looks like it definitely does, so. Roxy solos phase 1, Esca solo phase 2, and that is going to be 2 teams for Baruja. If you guys like it, drop a thumb, maybe sub if you're into that, and I'll see you in the next one.